Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the C Morning Show. We're about to get into our first talk show of the day. But before we do that, I'd like to ask my colleague, Russia, and we talked about this before the program, but for the sake of our viewers, do you ever find yourself getting moody?
Well, I'd like to honestly think that I'm a stable person, but I see a lot of conversations in our friends and our social media where we're talking about moody. It can get into self-diagnosing as bipolar disorder. So then the question would be, are you having a bipolar disorder or are you just moody, right, Paul?
Indeed. It's becoming like a trend lately where people overanalyze things, and I don't hear the word moody anymore. I hear a lot of people just, like you said, self-diagnosing, calling themselves bipolar, but it is an actual disorder. So we want here in this segment to try to divide or diversify what is a mood swing and what is bipolar disorder. So joining us this morning is clinical psychologist, friend of a program, Shierlen Octavia. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here again.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Very nice to be here again.
Yes. Great. So let's first talk about, before we get into the questions in regards to what each of these are, can you describe the difference between just being moody or a bipolar disorder?
Yes, of course. But maybe before we go into separating the difference between being moody and bipolar disorder, we have to first understand about what is mood.
Okay.
Yes. So mood is an affective condition, affective state. And usually moods are less intense, less specific, and also less likely to be provoked by particular cause or stimulus. And mood is typically characterized either having a positive or negative valence. Or in other words, we can be in a good mood as having more energy, being happy, and or in a bad mood as having low energy or being irritable, such like that, you know. And moods are usually not long-lasting. And we don't usually know the obvious cause of our state of mood.
We don't know at all.
Yeah,
Really?
usually we don't really know the obvious cause. So
we just feel it, right?
we just feel
I
it,
get
yes.
it. Yes.
But it can have a powerful impact on us, such as being in a good mood usually impact our thinking, such being an open-minded thinking, and that it can lead to creativity, so we can generate more novel ideas. But a negative mood doesn't always adversely impact our thinking. In fact, negative mood can enhance our analytical thinking.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're more cautious?
Yes, exactly. Because we are more cautious and we are better at detecting inconsistencies in things that we consume.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I never thought of it that way.
But is it possible that mood is created by emotions that either we feel or we wrongly identify? Is it possible that mood is caused by emotions or by the way that we take care of ourselves?
Yes, of course. Mood is usually built up by many factors. So there are internal changes and also external changes. Internal changes mean everything that is happening inside us. So even a small change in our body, for example, like having stomach ache or maybe headache, can really impact our mood throughout the day. And the second one is the external change. So if there is any slight changes in our environment, such as increased stress, maybe at home, at work, it can also influence our mood.
Well, once we're aware of our mood changing, for example, due to, let's say I got a stomach ache, now I'm in a bad mood. But if I'm aware of that, can I change? Am I in control of my mood? Can I change my mood into a better mood if I'd like to?
Yes, actually we can. Such as doing anything that we are used to enjoy, we used to enjoy, or doing anything that we know that it can lift up our mood.
Like
having a cup of coffee.
Yes, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about what's been happening lately. Russia touched upon it, where a lot of people are saying, are self-diagnosing. They feel like, oh, because I suddenly feel good one day and bad the other, that I have a bipolar disorder. But bipolar disorder is something that's very serious from what I know.
Yes.
And can you describe what is the difference if somebody has bipolar disorder?
Okay. It is very common for people to self-diagnose and also misdiagnose, such as having mood swings during the day
Okay.
as having bipolar disorder.
Well, like
it's
the mood changing throughout one
yes,
day, right? Yes.
but it's actually not the same.
Okay.
In fact, it's very different. So moody is a fast, sudden, and noticeable change in our mood. And it is very normal for us to have mood swings. Yeah, for a few hours or up to a day. So for example, we can go to work feeling grumpy, only to then find ourselves feel more happy, more excited when meeting our colleagues. Yes.
True.
And it is pretty normal, it's very okay and totally human for us to feel that way. And just as I mentioned before, it is very common also for us to not knowing what is the obvious cause. But sometimes we can also know what is the cause. For example, we can feel pretty cranky or anxious by not having our morning coffee, for example. Yeah.
Good example.
But we can also not, just not feeling in the mood, but not knowing why is that. But in bipolar disorder, the mood changes are actually pretty slow and progressive.
It's slow, is it?
Yes, slow and progressive.
It takes time to
change. And if we are to draw a curve, the mood fluctuations in bipolar disorder is actually more like a shallow curve, rather than a steep like roller coaster curve. So in order to be diagnosed as having bipolar disorder, the mood changes have actually have to appear for a certain period, for like 1 week or 2 weeks. And it is usually characterized by an extreme mood changes, either having manic episodes or depressive episodes. So manic episodes is like we are having overactive energy, mood, behavior, and we usually like may talk a lot, talk too much, and then having excess energy.
Very excited.
Yeah, very
hyperactive.
excited.
confident, perhaps.
Yes, very confident. It is actually good, but in bipolar disorder, the manic episodes usually lead to more risky behavior. So people are more likely to engage in impulsive behavior, even dangerous behavior. For example, if normally if we are getting stuck at traffic, we are merely getting annoyed.
Yeah.
Yes, but during the extreme highs, the
Yes.
manic episodes, someone with bipolar disorder can feel pretty angry that they can speed or maybe crash.
Like road rage.
Such like that.
Okay, because I have a friend that has been medically diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and if I can put it in simpler terms, and tell me if I'm wrong, the highs are just a lot higher and the lows are a lot lower.
Yes.
Right? The peaks and valleys are just so much farther apart than somebody who has just mood swings regularly.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so what actually causes bipolar disorder? Is it by nature or by nurture?
Okay, in psychology, there are so many things that can make up like a disorder. So up till now, research suggests that a combination of physical, the nature, and also the nurture one, the nurture part, the environmental conditions can increase the chance for someone to develop a bipolar disorder. So in bipolar, by physical, it is merely caused by neurotransmitters problems.
Okay.
So neurotransmitters is like a messenger chemical in our brains
That's
that
Sends the
carry
signal, right?
that carry our information of our emotions throughout our body, and also a chemical imbalance.
Okay.
But most of the causes usually are genetic. So from our family, pass on through the next offsprings, such like like that. But we doesn't strictly mean that there is a single bipolar gene. So there is like bipolar gene passed on through generations. It's not like that.
Right.
And for the environmental parts, usually having experience like traumatic experience, emotional distress as a child, like being neglected, or witness abusive behaviors at home, at family, it can really triggers more emotional problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a condition that you have to sort of live with forever and you can only manage, or can it actually be cured?
Okay, so bipolar disorder is actually long-lasting, yeah, because it is quite genetic in nature, but we can treat it. Bipolar can be treated. We can manage the symptoms through therapy and also medications.
There's a spectrum, isn't there? Like some people who need more treatment than others when it comes to bipolar disorder.
Yes, exactly, because there are also many types of bipolar disorder actually. So there are 3 types, and as you have mentioned before, the cases of your friends that is medically diagnosed by bipolar with extreme highs and lows, that is bipolar type 1. And there is also bipolar type 2. In bipolar type 2, the manic episodes is not as high as the bipolar type 1, so it is more, we call it as hypomania.
Okay.
Yeah, less extreme highs.
Severe, yeah.
Yes, but also alternate with the depressive episodes. But it is usually more like stable compared to the bipolar 1.
Manageable, I think.
Yeah,
right?
more manageable. And the last one is cyclothymic disorder. This is quite similar with the bipolar type 2, but lasts for a longer period, like 2-year period.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Really.
Is there actually a case where you can actually leverage your bipolar disorder to thrive in life?
Okay. Oh, how to manage the bipolar disorder?
Yeah.
Okay.
And use it to your advantage, probably during the maniac episode, as start as you are aware of it, there are some things that you can actually do to actually make use of that time, or is it something that you actually need to manage carefully? How severe is the condition in regards to thriving in life with a bipolar disorder?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. I think if we can manage the symptoms, yes, it is actually can be beneficial for us. So the important thing is to learn how to manage our emotions better. The first one is to identify the factors and also the triggers to our mood fluctuations, of course, so we know how to anticipate before the manic goes to up, to high. And the second one is to maintain a good life hygiene. Yeah. So
what does it mean by good life hygiene?
Yes, getting in adequate nutrition and make sure that you have adequate sleep in amount and also in quality of sleep, and relating to your loved ones, active in social environment.
Yeah. I like that. I
Yeah.
like the word hygiene. It actually suits me very well. So, since you brought it up and how bipolar disorder can be triggered, especially from childhood trauma, so these things can develop as early as what age? What are some of the signs?
Okay, so the typical age of onset is usually at 25, so early 20.
Okay.
But so 60%, I think, of those who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder usually receive their first diagnosis on their pre-teens maybe, or early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can detect it as early as
Yes,
preteens.
but it is also common for older adult, age 50, to have the diagnosis.
Really? That's pretty
Yes.
late in life as well, right? So I have a follow-up question because I have 8, almost 9-year-old at home
Okay.
who sometimes have mood swings. I would say it's not too bad, but there would be a morning where she wakes up and she would just start crying. I'm like, well, why are you crying? She's like, I'm tired. I don't feel like waking up today. And I can tell that means her mood is down, right?
Yes.
And we try to do things to pick up her morning, such as make her a breakfast that she likes. And usually it works. But it gets me to thinking, how do we identify what is a mood swing and what will later develop as bipolar disorder? Is there any way to tell at that age? So we can kind of foresee things, in the, so that we can anticipate anything happening in the future.
Okay, so if the mood swings fluctuate and happen for for example, there is a manic episode for 1 week and also depressive episode.
So it's
for
like a longer,
2
it's
weeks.
not just one day, one morning.
Yeah,
but
not
it's
one day,
over.
because it is pretty normal for us to have such changes during the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, it's just a matter of duration, right? You
Yes,
just make
it's a
sure
matter
that
of
if it's going on
duration.
for a bit too long.
Yes, and also severity, actually.
The
Yes.
highs and the lows, how
Yes.
intense it is, right?
Yes, for normal mood swings, even though we feel like this is a pretty bad day, we can still manage our like tasks, we can still engage in it, and we can still maintain our relationship to be functionally in a good relationship with others. But in bipolar disorder, usually they have like difficulties to just get out of bed to go to work. Even they can lose a job just because they cannot manage the emotions.
Okay.
Or like suddenly being the party of the life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
Wow.
racing around and maybe doing destructive things at the extreme levels.
Okay, got it.
Now, there are some who claim that everyone has some sort of bipolar traits in some degree. Is this true or is this just a myth?
Okay, it is actually not true, so it's a myth. Bipolar is not a trait, rather it is a chronic condition. Yeah, quite long-lasting conditions if we don't treat it. And just as everyone here have the same chance to like develop physical illnesses, all of us here also have the chance to develop like bipolar disorder, you know, because we have affect, we have emotions, and we also face like challenges, struggles in our daily life, which can trigger the onset of bipolar disorder. So the most important thing is to like learning to regulate our stress, our emotions, and of course the maintaining good life hygiene is pretty important.
Is there anything that the support system, the family and the close friends can help to support their loved ones who are having bipolar disorder?
Okay, of course there is. The first one is like to be patient, of course, because even if we have like our friends mood swings, we see that their moods change so suddenly, it can make us feel like annoyed or irritated. So we have to, as a family member, we have to be like very patient, knowing the condition and also learning more about the symptoms. So as a family, we can also prepare. We can also know what to help during their lows and also during their highs.
Will some of those techniques, will some of those techniques that you mentioned that we should apply if somebody is feeling moody, for example, giving them comfort food or music or something that'll make them happy, will those same techniques work sometimes with bipolar disorder as well?
Yes, of course. So during the low episodes, the depressive episodes, it will be very helpful for us to like giving them the favorite things, and also ask them, invite them to do something that they used to enjoy.
Okay.
So the key is to make them active, during the low.
And I think it's also the other way around, right? During the manic or hypomanic episode, the loved ones can also act as someone who reminds them of not taking too much risk. Stay grounded, exactly, right?
Right.
Very good. So I think, I guess we have a clearer definition now. And hopefully people aren't out there misdiagnosing again, because we see that a lot on social media as well. We don't know, like, hey, if somebody's claiming to have bipolar disorder, did you go see a doctor? Because it's a serious thing. You can't just say that I have bipolar disorder. But thank you for clearing things up. We do appreciate your perspective on this.
Thank you so much, Doc, for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, so we're going for a quick break now, but after the break, we will return to recap some news from earlier in the program. So stay with us right here, only on the Z Morning Show. We'll be right back.